Okay, so whole group, we are going to real quick talk about the next part of our story mountain, so the problem. This is really, remember when we were picking a seed idea, we wanted something that had some kind of an issue or a hook or something big and exciting, and we said it was juicy that happens, to really make your story interesting. So I'm modeling with my story, so remember, my story so far, I said who was there. Okay, I said that it was me, and I was meeting up with a friend of a friend named Ken, and I said that I lived in Philadelphia, and I was driving my car to meet him. Okay, and then the other part that we did was the build-up, and we said what events happened. So I got dressed, I got ready, I got in my car, text messaging, I'll be on my way, and now I get to the part, and so I'm at the gas station because I said that of course my gas light came on and I needed to fill up my car. Fine. So now everything so far is building up to this point. Now is where and I'm going to say it to you first. Sometimes it helps me to speak it out first. So if I'm speaking it to you guys, what I would say was, I went to the gas station and I put in my credit card, and in New Jersey when you pay for gas, somebody else fills your car up, right? Somebody else fills your tank up. But in Pennsylvania, you do it yourself. Well, I'm a Jersey girl in Pennsylvania, so here I was filling my own car with gas, but I'm not, I guess, that well practiced with that. So it was, of course, a little tricky for me. So I pay with my credit card, I take the nozzle out, and all of a sudden, if you can just picture, I go to put it in the, so if I draw a picture real quick, I go to put it in, here's my car, not a fancy car, okay, there's my car, and pretend this is my little gas place. I go to put the nozzle in there, and it starts just spraying out like crazy, and here I am, I'm holding the nozzle, and it's spraying all over my hair, okay? It's just gasoline everywhere, and finally it shut off, and I even looked around thinking, oh my gosh, am I on like Candid Camera or TV show or something? So the problem was that the gasoline, I could not get it into here without spraying out. I think what happened was by accident I pulled the little trigger to make the gas go, but I didn't realize that, and it was all probably only a 5-second event, but it felt longer because it was such a big situation that I was in. So how I would write my problem: things might go wrong. Oh yeah, they did. Is there a mystery? Do terrible things happen? Yep. Are there any disagreements? So in my case, it's terrible things happening, or it's something that was unplanned. So for me, I would say, as I went to place the nozzle, and that's the word for that, it looks like a little hose thing. When I went to place the nozzle in my gas tank, the gasoline began to spray, and I'm going to put this in caps because this is pretty big, everywhere. Alright? No joke. Everywhere. Okay? It was on my clothing, all over my car, in my hair. Okay? And of course, and I'll just kind of circle this, I was very embarrassed. I kind of looked around too to see, not only was I on Candid Camera, but like, gosh, did anybody see that? This is so embarrassing. And so that is my problem. Obviously, when we write our story, I'm going to add more detail about how embarrassed I was, about what the gasoline smelled like, and what my thoughts were. But right now, this is just to organize my thoughts. This was my problem. And now my resolution. How are things going to be sorted out? Well, I told you, finally, I was able to get the hose to stop spraying, and I So that ended my major problem, and now I had the problem of having gasoline all over me, so I had to go home and change my outfit. But gasoline, if you've ever gotten gasoline like on your fingers or anything, the smell is very tough to get off of you. So I ended up meeting up with Ken, but the smell was just, I had to explain the story to him. So, because I smelled like gasoline, and I knew he would smell it on me and probably wonder what was wrong with me. So, my resolution, how are things going to be sorted out? Well, finally, after several failed attempts, I was able to wrestle the nozzle into the gas tank, and it stopped spraying. I proceeded, which means I continued, I proceeded to fill up my tank. And I was kind of like in shock about what just happened. I'm not going to, so now the ending, if you get here, and this is only if you get here, if you get here, so I don't want my resolution. This is how did the problem get solved. But this is not the end of my story yet. The end of my story would be, I got back in my car, and drove back to my house to change. I met up with Ken, told him the story, and I knew he would think one of two things. He would either think, she's crazy, or he would think, that's hilarious. And luckily for me, he thought, oh, that was hilarious. And so then, kind of like as a real ending to my story, that now Ken is my husband. So the way we first met, our first ever encounter, was this crazy gasoline incident that I had. So now we have that to kind of look back and laugh on. Okay? So what are the odds that would be how I met my husband? So this, again, do I have to add more detail? Absolutely. But this walks me through a nice outline. You are going to now do this with your story. Again, if you don't get to the ending yet, that's fine. And make sure, some of you yesterday, or the day before, you said, oh, should I add that? Yeah, make this doesn't have to be all your details, but it needs to be, like, I would say, the skeleton of your story, the framework of your story, okay? So don't leave all sorts of details out right here either, okay? So do your best, and then when we're together next class, we will go over this and see how your outline is so far, and is there anything you're missing, and what can we do before we start drafting. All right?